Have you got any updates on your mask yet?
No.
Mask?
I have not. Not a single thing.
Yeah, so we both ordered, there's a band we both like called Slaughter to Prevail, and they sell the masks that they wear. And, I ordered mine, we ordered them, what, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah. And I don't think they ship from Russia. I think they ship from Florida, right?
I think so.
From Russia? You said they're serving from Russia?
Well, it's a Russian band, but he lives in Florida now.
I allow it. You put us in starting soon yet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think so. Right?
I was just asking. I haven't looked, but I'm looking now, and it looks like you have.
Yeah.
Oh, dope.
Yep, that's up and running. Come over here. All right. It's been running that group. Minimize that. Bring up that. All right. Just waiting for a while and we're good to go.
What are you talking about?
So I can't see anybody's face right now.
I was like, here, what are you talking about?
All right. Everybody good to go?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you...
Why am I what?
No, you... Twitch is attempting to play a different video. Anyway. Yeah, it did. It
I think so.
just changed to an old episode.
Hey, double check your sound for the stream.
It did. It just...
I think so. I'm not here.
Yeah, it's coming through. Do. Yep. All right. And here we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hello, everybody. Welcome to Griffcast episode 126, the Mature Nerd Podcast for Immature People. The show where we talk about any and all things nerd. Video games, comics, movies, computer technology. I can't, that look he was giving me there threw me off. you just give this like...
This is my face, man. This is like the new. That's the neutral face. I don't know if I can get any more neutral than that. Just
turn y'all up. I can barely hear y'all.
kind of like angry.
Show where we talk about any of the things nerd, from video games, comics, movies, computer technology, and or science. Welcome to the show. I am your host and King Neckbeard Griffmore, and we have most everybody. Slop's going to join us tonight, and Wrath God has returned.
The Wrath of God has returned.
So
That was too deep.
a little bit of housekeeping before we get to it. This is mostly going to be a hangout episode. I have been told that I am going to be getting a job offer tomorrow.
Hey.
And it's a really good job, but it is night shift.
Ooh.
And
I don't know if you really can like say those two things together. It's a great job. It's night shift.
Okay. It's a job that pays well, that is easy.
Say less.
So there might be a couple of weekends where the show doesn't happen because it's a rotating schedule. So that's the biggest downside to it, is it's 3 on, 3 off, 2 on, 2 off.
It just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah. So we'll either like reschedule and do it another night if everybody's available, or we'll just like skip every third episode.
Okay.
At least temporarily until I find something else. But you know, I need to be working, making that paper.
The coin.
Yeah.
That cheddar. That guap.
Yep.
That, it's so say guap. That
Do they?
cheese. That bacon. Food. Why is it always food? We gotta put food on the table, I guess.
Because like the number one thing you can buy with money is food.
You see CP going deep into it, bro. He just looks like deep into like cheddar, chicken, guap.
Well, you did say paper. And paper's not really edible. Or is it?
I mean, it technically is. You can eat it.
Well, that
Whether you
concludes our
should or
segment.
not.
Shower thoughts with TCP.
Clip it. Oh. Anyway, how's everybody doing?
Doing pretty good. Speaking of jobs, I have my interview tomorrow.
Oh yeah?
Right.
Yeah. I put in for a operations manager.
Hey.
All right.
So, if that goes through, then I would have hit my goal of being corporate.
Ooh, corporate.
Yeah.
Oh, joining the dark side.
I know, right? I'm joining the man.
Something.
problem now.
Dark side.
He says, I'm not going to fix the problem. I'm going to become the problem.
I mean, say stuff like that. I mean, it's true, but it's not true. Because, people are like, they dealt with the system. They dealt, with being an underling. They dealt with being a drone. I dealt with that kind of like in the Marine Corps and stuff. I was like, this is bullshit. I'm going to rise through the ranks. And I'm going to fix it, and I'm going to change it. And then you fucking get out there, and you're just like, this shit needs to stay the same. It needs to stay the same. They don't learn these pieces of shit. And it's not that bad. But but you get there, and you're just like, damn. Maybe it's that way for a reason. It's that way for a reason. It's hard to change it. I can make it like slightly better, but
There are some things that are just like that absolutely they will never learn. Like, and it's, you just sit there and you just scratch your head and you just rub your temples and take Tylenol. You're just like, okay, it'll be over soon.
Well, see, here's the benefit, though, of starting at the bottom and working your way up is you'll know what everybody at the bottom is going through.
Exactly. That's one thing I pride myself on. I worked from the bottom.
Yeah. Like I said, today's mostly going to be a hangout episode because I don't know when I'm going to start this job. All I know is the offer's coming through tomorrow.
I was about to say, like, was it because you're too lazy to go through the news? Because I feel like I was posting a decent amount of news.
You did. It was just all the same thing.
Okay. Yes. Some of it was pretty relatable. And I mean, yeah, sure, that makes for one good topic. But
I think there was more news in the meme channel.
There's.
But yeah, let's. So obviously, we've got to go over. James Earl Jones passed away.
Yeah.
You didn't put that on the notes?
I did
I'm glad
not.
you didn't, because I shouldn't. I mean, I didn't want to be heartbroken all day, but I had to prepare for
Wait,
it.
who passed away?
James Earl
James
Jones.
Oh yeah. That was sad.
I mean, honestly, though, I mean, he was 93. Like, I forgot he was alive.
Oh wow. Okay. Well,
So, like, I am saddened by the fact that he passed away because, you know, he was an amazing voice actor. But, and I've seen some of his Broadway work or his plays.
He did more than just voice acting. He was an actor too.
He was.
also on. He was
I
on
think
stage.
the last movie that I saw him in was Coming to America.
Was he in two? Wow, was he in Coming to America too?
I don't know if he was in
Is
two.
that racist that I just singled out wow just to answer that question?
That was it was pretty racist, but
Hey, other black guy. Do you know if that black guy was in that black movie?
hey, another black guy. Yes, he was.
I feel like he was. I feel like everybody returned for that, right?
Yeah, he was. He absolutely was.
Yeah.
Showing our age here, talking about movies that came out in the 90s.
We talked about that movie came out in 2023.
What?
Dang.
Shit, you weren't paying attention. I mean, I kind of had a feeling that you were going that way. You're just talking about the 1990 movie. I'm talking about the sequel in 2023.
yeah, the remake.
That's true.
I guess it's not a remake. It's
You didn't know there was a sequel?
I did not.
It was.
Well, I know there was a sequel in the 90s, wasn't there?
I don't think so. No. No. And this one, you know, it's following his son,
No.
Joffrey Jr.'s son.
Oh yeah.
Joffrey Jr.?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Joffrey Jr.
And then obviously, you know, we've been talking about this for a while where Marvel's reportedly rumors. So, you know, tinfoil hat of making another Blade movie with Wesley, which, as you put in the channel, there's only been one Blade. There's only going to be one Blade.
I mean, I didn't say that.
I mean, you did. I can quote you right here.
I mean, sure, I wrote it down, but I didn't say that. I wasn't the one that said that.
No, he
I
said
took
it in the
that quote from
movie.
somebody
Yeah.
else. Like, spoiler alert. At this point, it's been like, what, 6 weeks? That's your own fault.
Honestly, anybody who's going to see that movie has already seen it.
Fair assessment.
Except for maybe Rathcon, just because he doesn't leave his house very often.
I mean, that's why they invented, you know, Pirate Hub and Torrent Bay. And
Yeah.
did I completely get those two backwards?
But outside of those, it's
Is it Torrent Bay and Pirate Hub?
I mean,
PS
does
Pro,
people
PS
still
Pro,
really
PS
use
Pro,
Pirate-
PS Pro.
Pirate Bay.
Do
Unity
people really
does?
still use Pirate Bay?
Isn't Pirate Bay outdated now? Oh wait, no, Pirate Bay got shut down, didn't it?
I was thinking so. It did.
Because like the
I
guy
know,
who made
I'm a
it's
very
in
honest
jail.
person. A very honest person, a very legit person. So I don't, you know, pirate stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
So I don't know the answer to that actually.
Yeah, I bet.
I kind of want to look it up, but I also don't want to get flagged.
Yeah, at that point in time, your IP's on the FBI's list.
It already is. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. Yeah, there's a lot of PS5 Pro news, which we're going to jump into. Let me go back to the notes.
Should have made like a sub notes category just for that fucking thing.
I honestly, like, overall, it's just a bad deal all around for most people, I think.
That's what you think.
It is what I think. One, it's $200 more than the PS5 currently is. And they went the Apple route in charging you for everything extra to add to it. I'm really surprised I'm really surprised that it's actually coming with a controller at this point in time.
Does it have a power cord to it? We give you a power cord with a PS5. You should be able to use that one for the Pro. Come on, team. What are we doing? Yeah.
Yeah, they'll
Universal
launch it and it'll be
power
charged with it'll be powered by a lightning cable or something.
Just use the power cord from your TV to power the console. Oh, you don't have 2 power cords for your TV? That's your own fault.
I've got like 40 power cords in a drawer, so I'm good.
Yeah.
One of them will fit.
The vertical stand is some bullshit too.
Yeah.
It is some bullshit, and it's like some super bullshit too. Not because everyone wants to put their. I mean, I feel like, yeah, man. Like since the 2000s, the PS1 wasn't like that. The PS1 was only vertically, or it was only horizontally. Oh, never mind. Maybe I'm speaking backwards. Everyone's usually put their console down horizontally, laying down.
I've always done mine vertical.
Yeah, but with the PS5, they kind of designed it where it only looks good being stood up, being vertical. So everyone for decades has always had their console horizontal, flat to the ground, and they designed a console that just looks better, standing upright, and then they're going to start charging extra. They're like, oh, you want to put it upright? Well, we're going to pay for this stand now.
Wait a minute. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the vertical mount is sold separately. So is the disk drive.
$30. The disk drive.
If there's a way for them to charge for it, they're going to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sony is turning into Apple.
Tough. I also cannot deny that statement. But yeah, so that's what the disk drive I can somewhat see and somewhat not see.
I don't think we're ready for a digital only age.
Well, I mean,
the consumer base is not ready for digital.
It's going to start transition at some point, so I think now might be a good time. They're already expecting the next generation of consoles, the PS6 and the Xbox, up down, to be charged to be digital only. So, I mean, we're getting there, and it's tough, because I mean I think it's fine, because I mean, imagine if they did have the disk drive included, they might increase the price of it, and so there's some people that don't want the disk drive. So I don't know. Do you think if it included a disk drive on the PS5 Pro, they would keep it at $700, or they would make it like what, $750, or they would make it $800?
Honestly, I think they should just eat the cost and put it on there.
I feel like they're already eating the cost. Ooh, no.
They're not.
Told me?
They're
Someone told me that
making.
this is the first generation where they're not eating the cost.
Yeah. They're actually going to be making more than 50% in profit.
Interesting.
I'm going to be interested to see the numbers. Wrath, have you started taking pre-orders for it yet?
No, and they can't. They're not. Ooh, did you not read the last thing I sent? Ha,
I did
loser.
not.
Nerd.
Wrath, are you there?
Yeah, sorry. I just I had a phone call I had to take. Sorry.
What? You're on a phone call. This is. Ooh. Sorry, I didn't mean to react that way. I can tell that this is starting to get there.
Oh, this is great. You know what that means.
So I just want to know how many drinks you have pre-made.
Damn, that was that? This one is strong. My bad.
Oh, he's got drinks pre-made. I got you.
Yeah, so anytime you see him get up, there's a fridge right behind him.
Hey man,
Okay.
Don't be mad because I planned out my man cave and I come prepared.
I've honestly been thinking about it, but
Oh, Jim, I fucked up. This one is strong.
Today's episode is brought to you by Jameson's.
Actually, no, I was about to say this is a new recipe. This is a new whiskey. I'm switching up the batch.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
is it
I
Malibu?
normally do go Jameson's. It's I cannot say it. Telemordu.
I don't.
Still Irish whiskey though.
I don't touch liquor hardly at all anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes I feel like it's more bang for your buck, man. I don't know.
He's had plenty of bang for his buck.
Plenty of bang.
Woo.
Plenty of bang, no buck.
Yeah. Let's just say it's better that I don't touch liquor much anymore. But yeah, overall though, like seriously, I think the biggest thing though that blows my mind. Obviously, there's going to be consumers that prefer having a console because PC for some consumers is daunting.
Mm-hmm. I think that's probably why it took me a while to get into PC. I was just like, oh, that's a lot, man, dude. And I work in the IT industry, and I knew a lot about computers as well. And I had already been like, got into the inner workings of computers and changed out components, and took certifications for those components, like in hardware of computers. But even still, building a PC was like, gasp. Hold on, I wanted to come back to that thing because it also helps. So Wrath, he was asking if you've have prepared for pre-orders for the PS5 Pro.
Yeah, so how it's going to work one of two ways. Either they're going to do online only, which sometimes they do, or they're going to allocate each store a certain amount. So like one of my stores might get 3 pre-orders, one might get 10, one might get 30, just depending on the location. But we're ready and waiting. It's just a matter of when they're going to let us do it.
Okay.
Yeah, because it comes out in November, right?
Yeah. Yeah, November 7th is the day they, I guess, come out and go live. So, but the thing is, that I saw was that if PlayStation Direct is available in your country, then that is the only way you can pre-order for the first 2 weeks.
That may be true too, yeah. A lot of times they do stuff like that.
Okay.
So from September 26th to October 10th, if my math is correct, that's the only way in the U.S. that you can pre-order the PS5 Pro. And then on PS Direct, most of the items on PS5 Direct don't require PlayStation Plus, but some of the more I guess I don't know, what is the word I'm looking for? Prioritized stuff, more high end, or like a controller. You don't need. I don't think you need a PlayStation Plus to buy a controller. But that,
and they're also increasing the price of controllers, which is ridiculous.
To buy systems, the higher end stuff, you need an active PlayStation Plus account.
They started getting away from the online for us, at least, and trying to do more in stores to combat the scalpers. Mm-hmm. Because in stores, one family, I can't sell, 2 brothers can't come in and buy a system. It has to be 1 per family household, basically.
1 per family household?
Yeah, so
you just can't control online.
Now, if they go to another store, I can't stop it. I'm not going to call every store and say, John Smith just bought a system from me. But
that's a lot of work, man.
If they come in together, if we know them to be friends or family, we're not doing it. 1 person gets it. That's it.
Oh, so you can't even keep an eye out for say John Smith comes in at 10 a.m. and pre-orders the system.
Yeah.
And then Rebecca Smith comes in at
we write the names down and everything.
So if John Smith came in and then Rebecca Smith came in, obviously she couldn't pre-order it.
She can't if they have the same address.
So what you would have to ask what their address is? Well,
we get their IDs. Yeah. We have to ask for their IDs in order to do the pre-order. Yeah.
Ooh.
Damn.
That's good. I mean, remember pre-orders you said really only be in person, and then there's this virus that started going around, so most things switched to online.
Well, Rebecca,
and that's when the scalpers started.
Her boyfriend a PS5.
It's just the best way to combat the scalpers, the people that are selling them for, $1,500, $2,000 on eBay.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what the prices are going to be for the PS5 Pro when they lock in their pre-orders. Because they even have the system; they just lock in their pre-orders and they just go straight to eBay.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I got a PS5 Pro secured.
Because we have people that come in and blatantly admit to they'll set up 8 iPads, 5 cell phones, and just keep hitting refresh on all of them at once just to get the system.
Dang.
Sounds like they went out trying to pre-order one.
People go crazy.
That's fair. I can't lie and say that I didn't do that. I guess I'll say probably 4 browsers open and then my phone. Like I had Chrome, Firefox, and was I maybe using Edge? And then I also had the incognito versions of each of those. I was refreshing all of them, and then also on my phone.
Yeah, I think I had.
And then with each of those browsers, I was on multiple sites. Like I was on Best Buy, Newegg, Target.
I was on multiple sites, but not multiple. I was on multiple devices on multiple sites, but I wasn't multiple sites on each device.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough, like how sometimes, like, because sometimes how they combat the refresh rate. Because if you constantly refresh, because that's like a bot technique and stuff. So then, like I guess I'll say the sites or whatever, they kind of look out for that stuff. So if you refresh too many times from the same session, so like the same browser session, that's why I was using it like incognito mode for some. If you refresh too many times, then they'll lock you out that way. And then other times they'll use your IP address. And if you refresh too many times from your IP address, then whether you're using Chrome and then Chrome incognito, if you're like on Newegg and you refresh too many times on one, then you'll get locked out of both sessions.
Yeah, and then that's what Sony Direct was doing. If you refreshed while you were in the site, it put you in the back of the queue.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've seen that. The queues. I think the queues were a pretty good idea.
But
for a time, I don't know.
Yeah, the thing that's blowing my mind though is that the cost for everything, like if you wanted the disk drive and the stand and everything like that, if you save up an extra $200, you can have a mid-tier gaming PC.
Yeah.
I
posted that meme earlier, and someone had their pricing wasn't wrong, but they also didn't have everything. They weren't really being smart about it. But yeah, man, you can have a gaming PC easy. That's what I said. With $700 below to mid tier, with how prices are nowadays.
I mean, if you save up to $1,000, you can have a decent rig.
Yeah, and that's what somebody else added in, because $300 over the PlayStation Plus, because you're paying for PlayStation Plus. Yeah. $300 over the lifespan of the Pro, because they're expected, because PS6 is expected in 2027.
I don't see the worth in the Pro. I just can't imagine why people.
I don't think it's really going to be worth it either. If you already have a PS5, I think you'll be fine.
Yeah,
you'll be all right. You don't 100%. Need to rush. You don't need to rush to get one. If you don't get your pre-order in or whatever.
It talks about all these amazing graphics it's going to have these games, but the games can't even do that. Like nobody. I don't know about y'all. When I went from a 1080p TV to a 4K TV, I didn't notice a difference.
I did.
I can't.
I have, and I noticed when I'm gaming, on my PC, I noticed the difference between like the resolution, and I also can notice the difference in frames. There was a time where I felt like, I was kind of good with it. I was like, ooh, this is probably how many frames I'm getting now. To go and look at my, my FPS meter, and I was about right. So I mean, there was a time where I could tell whether I was getting 60, 70, 120 frames or higher. So I mean, for some people that really take it seriously, I think they can see the difference and see the benefit. But like for the PS5 Pro, it's not going to be as substantial as you think. It's not going to be going from like a console to a super high-end, gaming PC. It's not going to be that different. I mean,
they're claiming they're going to have like 8K upscaling, and I'm like, no game can do that.
No games. Nobody's doing that with their games. Nobody cares. But that's also the thing, because they were claiming that PS5 could do that from the fucking jump. Base PS5, they were talking about, it's got 8K, then could definitely do 4K. 120 FPS, but nobody's fucking doing that. Nobody's doing that. And there were some games that were getting the 120 FPS, but they were fucking seriously shitting on their resolution, shitting on their quality, and using upscalers to get there. Not even AI upscalers, just like the base checkerboard upscaling and shit.
The only game I know of that was doing 4K 120 was Destiny 2 PvP, and it was only in PvP. But their maps were also tiny.
Yeah, Warzone was claiming that for a while too. I don't know if it was Call of Duty as general, or if it was just Warzone. I think it was just Call of Duty. But I mean, it was meh. The quality was meh. You don't really know how they were getting there. I'm sure they dropped the resolution a shit ton.
Yeah.
But so.
And also, what a lot of people don't know too is most TVs don't have a 120 refresh rate.
Nope. Oh, dude, that's something that you gotta be super careful about because TVs they're not shy about doing that. Putting that on on the box, they'll say 4K 120, but they mean either you can do 4K or you can do 120. You can't do both. And they'll say that shit right on the fucking box. It'll look and they'll put it side by fucking side, man. Yeah. They'll say 4K, 120 FPS or 120 hertz, 120 refresh rate, but you can't do both at the same time. Unless you do have HDMI 2.1.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think there's more TVs that are doing it now. There was like a year and a half ago, a year ago. You know, not many TVs were rocking that, and if they were fucking dick expensive.
Yeah. Like I got here on the wall. I've got is it a TCL? I think it's a TCL. It's 4K, but I think it caps out at 60, which is more than enough for me. Like when you spend 8 years on a PS4, 60 FPS on a 4K is amazing.
I mean I feel like gamers should probably, if you're worried about doing 4K and high frame rates, don't even worry about TVs, man. Buy a desk and buy a monitor and game that way.
Yep.
Small brat coming. God, I feel bad saying this out loud. But I mean, when I bought this TV, I also didn't buy it for full price. So, shout out to my homie if you're watching that I got the TV cheap from. He's working at a store and they had like an employee store. Apparently the TV was damaged. Okay. TV's pristine. But yeah, I got the Sony Bravia Masterclass TV. This TV was like almost $5,000 when it came out.
Yeah.
And I was able to get it for $1,000, which is still stupid expensive for a TV. But I mean, yeah, it's got 4K 120, and it's just a beautiful, gorgeous TV. I bought it for gaming. Don't even fucking use it. I mean, I use it. It's right there. I use it all the fucking time. But I don't use it for gaming. Because I got a desk set up. I got monitors. It's just easier and it's better. It's just more convenient.
Yeah, I thought I was going to use this a lot more than I do, and it's really. I'm going to start. I think because if I want to watch something while I'm gaming, it's right here. Like my game will be here, and then I'll watch something here.
Yeah, that's what I do. You got dual monitors. I mean, you can go buy dual monitors. I mean, dude, I think there were some places that they had, 4K, 60 FPS monitors, which is like, solid and good for the PS5 since most PS5 games are only hitting 60 FPS anyway. In performance mode, where they're dropping the resolution. So you buy two monitors. You can buy two monitors for like, I think at one point they had them for like $150.
Yeah.
4K monitors with 60 FPS for $150, $200 or whatever. I feel like that's something that people need.
I'm happy. I got my two primary monitors are 1440, 75 hertz. They've been fantastic.
Dude, 2K monitors. The difference. I think the difference between 1080 and 4K is pretty good. I mean, 1080 still looks great. 1080 still looks great. It still looks very sharp. You get it in, high FPS. I mean, good to go, man. I'll take frame rate over resolution any day. But if I can have both, I'll take both. 1080 to 2K, it's a pretty good jump. But then 2K to 4K is not that big of a jump.
I am a little bit opposite than you. I will take the higher resolution as long as it doesn't overly impact performance.
Right. I mean, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
If I can have a high resolution and still have my FPS, then yeah, good to go, bud. Yeah, high five.
Like if I can maintain over 50 FPS at 2 to 4K, I'm going to stay there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as long as I'm getting over 60, man. If I see myself start dipping below 60, I'm questioning optimization because of my rig. But yeah, I mean, I'll definitely drop the resolution just so I can have high frames. There was a time where I was like, resolution over frames, but yeah, definitely not anymore.
So basically, what we're saying with our experience with technology is if you have a PS5 the Pro is not worth it right now. Or you can wait for the Pro to come out and pick up a PS5 for dirt cheap because they're dropping the price by $100.
Yeah, I think they're already dropping the price. And dude, the PS5 is already a good system. I mean, yeah, the Pro's not worth it or whatever. I mean, I say that, but also I'm gonna be real. I'm definitely gonna try to get a Pro. I'm gonna try to get my hands on a Pro if I can. But also, if I don't get my hands on a Pro,
yeah.
I mean, I'm blessed. I'm blessed enough that I can afford a Pro if I really wanted to. So it doesn't bother me that much. But if you can't afford it, dude, don't stress about it, bud. Don't stress about it, bud. Take the PS5. Pretty good system. It's fine. You want it for the exclusives anyway, which they barely have any of. I saw someone say that shit, man. They're like, they're launching the PS5 Pro, and the very first game that they demo is a fucking PS4 game. Which was like, I think it was The Last of Us 2. And of course they're talking about the remastered version for or for PS5. But like, it's still a PS4 game.
Yeah.
And that's...
God, they're trying to beat that game into the freaking ground, aren't they?
Yeah, man, they're beating all their games, and even God of War beating in the ground. I mean, dude, if we're talking about this generation and their games, it's been super fucking dry. I've seen a lot of memes recently, a lot of news about it. Just but yeah, this generation has been dry as fuck. And of course, they're so.
It hasn't just been dry, but 60% of the games that have come out have been horrible.
Yeah, bad games or not that many games, not that many, first party exclusives or, exclusives in general. Or I mean, I feel like they've had a good amount of exclusives, but they just haven't been good. You're right, it's just not good. I mean, some of the only actual exclusives that Microsoft has had was Hellblade, Hellblade 2. But I mean, the game was all 8 hours, very short. You can't do much. I mean, I do like simple games. I do like simple games that don't have a shit ton of controls, a shit ton of controller aspects, shit ton of features, not too deep into the weeds. Very simple. It's very straightforward. That's what I liked about the first game. The first game was very simple, very straightforward, limited controls, and just a great, compelling story.
We got Matt in the chat asking, what makes it a Pro? What makes it a Pro is they are... Go ahead.
No, man, I want to hear you. I want to hear you go first.
Go ahead.
I want you to go first.
This is part one of Pro.
One is an upgraded hard drive. 2 is they are updating the graphics, their graphics processor. Are they upgrading the processor at all? They are? Okay. So, and they're claiming that it can do 8K AI upscaling.
Yeah.
That's it.
You hit pretty much get the points. The processor is an upgraded processor. The processor itself is probably, I think, only 30% more powerful, 30% faster. With it processing, the GPU itself, I think it's around 50% more powerful. Definitely more cores. Definitely an upgraded GPU. I can't remember the amount of memory that is shared. I think the memory is about the same, so not very much upgrading the memory. I think in total they're saying that the Pro should have around 40% more performance. But honestly, I don't think it's going to be that much. It's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. So they definitely have a more powerful CPU, definitely more powerful GPU. The upscaler, adding the upscaler technology is an AI upscaler technology it's a pretty big feature, pretty decent feature. It's probably something that they'll be able to take more advantage of in the future as they continue to release updates, software patches, better processing, and as they collect data for games and stuff, to be able to do that. Just the same as NVIDIA with DLSS and AMD with FSR.
So
they'll get better over time. They'll get more proficient.
So
I can't see the chat. So if he said something different,
so Matt, he is talking about processing memory. The new hard drive is going to be 2 terabytes because the base system itself is digital only.
840. Is
it 840?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I thought you were referring to different things. Yeah, so the base system itself is digital only. And I feel like that's probably where a lot of the price comes from because the base PS5 has an 800 gigabyte hard drive. And then like 200 gigs is reserved by the operating system and other drivers and features. So it was very small. This one is a full 2 terabytes.
So wait a minute.
With the base PS5, it's not a terabyte drive where you have access to 800 gigabytes. It's an 800 gigabyte drive where you have access to like 650.
Yes.
Terrible. I don't want to talk about that. But yeah, this is a full 2 terabytes where you have access to like 1.8.
Yeah.
Oh, that was gonna be my question. I was gonna be like, you said full 2 terabytes. I was like, okay, is it like maybe like 2.5, and you get access to like a full 2? That'd be nice.
Yeah. Or you can. So it's all downloaded games, or you can spend an extra, I think it's $150 and have added another disk drive to it. Is it not $150 for the disk drive?
Oh, that's a bull. That was. I mean, I wouldn't put it past, but no, it's $80. $80 for the
okay,
drive.
so it's $700 for the console, $80 for the disk drive if you want to add that on there, and it's what, $35 for the stand?
$30
for the stand.
Mm-hmm. So it's like what, 810.
They're increasing the price of controllers to $75.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like the standard white and the standard black is now $75, and then I think like the cosmic colors and other graphics that they had were already $80, so I think they're now $85.
Yeah.
Controllers. That's the one that hurts, man.
Yeah, it does, because
this is why you need to keep the rage under control.
Yeah,
you need to stop playing PvP. You need to stop playing Elden Ring. You need to stop playing Souls-like games. You need to keep the rage under control, man.
Legendary Gage dropped in the chat a disk drive that then just lets you download the game.
I mean,
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's
straight facts.
Right, and so I think that's why they're moving to digital only, because I mean, it's easier. It's more money for them too, because now it's more money. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking about it backwards.
Well,
with digital only.
By going digital only, they can cut costs by not having a physical edition.
So
yes, theoretically,
still gaining.
Theoretically,
money.
they could do that, right? But still, Sony is still taking the portion of the proceeds from like the producing companies and developers. They're still taking their portion, whether it's a digital sale or whether it's a physical sale, right? So you think with physical, you have to manufacture that media, you have to do that, so that that's a little bit of cost there, right? And then you think, because if I'm moving to digital, I'm saving that cost. But Sony and Xbox, Microsoft, whoever is like, whatever, they're still taking that same portion, if that makes sense, right? So you think you're saving money, but it's really not, But Steam and other places like that, they don't do that shit, right? They don't take their unfair cut, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
right?
Matt, if you have poor internet connection or no internet connection, you'd be better off like trying to set up a portable unit and just going to McDonald's and downloading everything.
True, or just buying the physical.
Well, that's what they're bringing out is most physical games
require updates.
I wanted to come back to that. Yeah, so the disc is just a key now.
Basically.
It's just a key. And that's why they did it. But I still see the benefits in having a disc drive. I'm still super old school. I still have GameFly, so I still rent a lot of games. So the disc drive would be beneficial to someone like me, because I still rent games. You can't rent games digitally. They tried that for a time, but it didn't work out, so everyone stopped doing that shit. So if you want to rent games, I think there's still, even though Redbox went away, I think there's still companies kind of like Redbox where you can rent games like that. That's not just GameFly. Also, if your buddy buys a physical game, then you can borrow it, you can lend it, and not have to do the whole thing with like, oh, let me just sign into my account while I'm over at your house and then download the game.
So Matt
like
actually
that,
brings up
and
a question not related. He says, "Did I hear they took Starlink away from Elon? Is that right?" No. What had happened with that is Elon was allowing access to controversial sites like Twitter through via Starlink. So some countries have banned access to Starlink in their country.
Oh, dude. Oh, you're talking about fucking.
I think it was Brazil. Was it Brazil that did that?
What is that?
Or Ecuador?
Like a long time ago. Wow, you probably know this. Where there's a law that cable companies and internet providers are not able to block certain websites because that's what they want. Is it God, what is that term? It was a huge fucking thing.
Legendary J says it was Brazil. Yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, because the current administration tried to put it back into effect.
Net neutrality. There it is.
There it is.
Yes, net neutrality. That was a huge fucking thing. Oh, so he was getting around net neutrality.
Yeah.
By allowing people that had Starlink to access whatever websites they wanted.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Dude, that's probably Brazil. I don't see that being a problem with Brazil. I see that problem.
It was actually a huge problem with Brazil because not to dive too much into the political spectrum, but there was a semi-hostile takeover in Brazil. And yeah, so Brazil is trying to turn into Canada and Australia, basically. But we're not going to dive too much into that because of internet, and also not really our place to talk about it on this channel.
Yeah, the with Starlink doing that, the only problems where I kind of see that being like a huge fucking problem is places in like the Middle East where they have access to adult sites, or
they block
like
that here
in China.
Missouri.
Yep.
You can't watch a certain website that rhymes with D-Hub in Missouri.
You can't in Virginia either.
Nope.
Whoa, how do you guys know this stuff?
Huh? What?
What? I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
Number one, it was actually posted.
Yeah.
Blasted everywhere.
Yeah, I knew. That's exactly how I knew.
I mean, I don't know about these two degenerates here, but I know.
Starlink is still an option for you, Matt. Is this my Matt? Are you my Matt?
Oh, you're Matt.
Yeah.
Like your Matt?
If this is the Matt,
I thought we made some bounds and leaps from those times talking about your Matt.
Well, I mean, actually, I think everybody here except for Rathgon has met Matt. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. So where you are, your options are either Starlink or, which I think you can buy the device at like Best Buy, and then
I thought you were going a different route with that. Like you thought your options are XXXXX whatever.
Oh no, I mean, when it comes to that, if you just get a
there's a way around it.
There is. If you get a VPN, you can put yourself in California and you're good.
There's a way around it.
You all know this stuff. You all do it on your free time.
Yeah. It is coming your way. Just don't know when yet. Actually, I think when you finally do get internet where you are, you'll have better internet than I do.
I think a number of people are gonna have better internet than you do right now.
That's not hard.
Dude, it hurts me, man. Like, I'm close to the city, and all these rural counties are getting fiber 2 gig internet.
That's what I have. I have 5 gig. Sorry, I didn't mean to rub that in.
Well, see, once
never mind.
your
I was
last
gonna
kid
say,
moves out, we're all just gonna like come move in with you.
I would take the drive to download a game and then transport it back.
I'm actually talking to one of the network engineers, and we have fully implemented 10 gig.
Nice.
Okay. All right. We need. So, I forget which company you work for specifically.
We work for a fiber company. I ain't put my business out there like that.
All right. Yeah, I was about to say you don't know how to say it, but like, so when you're talking about 10 gigs. Are you talking about to the door? Because there was a long time where companies were like, oh yeah, we have fiber internet for you, or whatever. But they're talking about like fiber internet, like at the hub, down the street, whatever. Whereas like Verizon, shout out to Verizon if you guys want to give us a sponsorship. Holler at your boy. Where Verizon was doing, when they were doing fiber, they were actually running it to your fucking door frame. They were running it to your door, like right to your fucking router. Running fiber.
So that's the way that Shentel does it out in Radford. It's to a hub.
Mm-hmm. There are some companies, they run with Dreamcast. They're like, oh yeah, we have fiber internet. The fiber's only at the fucking HQ that's fucking 14 miles away from you.
Yep, I have their fiber, and I would get the worst speeds, and they would come out and tell me it's my stuff. I'm like, bro, it's not my stuff. I promise you, it's not my stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, your computer sucks. No, I don't think so.
No. With us, we actually run fiber directly.
Yeah.
So we have essentially, obviously the fiber comes off of the pole and it comes to the house, and we have an outside NID on the outside, and fiber runs directly into that. And then to even furthermore bring you fiber, we have a fiber line that runs from outside inside.
Yeah. You put the fiber terminator on the outside of the house, and then from there you could probably run fiber again.
Yeah, run
to
fiber
the actual
again.
modem.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, Matt, it'll get there. I think the same company is doing it here near my place, and they have ran it up to the end of the road, or where the road is, and they could just stop there. So it's right there. I just need them to turn it on. Yeah.
We're still talking about the PS5 Pro. Let's keep talking about it. Let's keep talking about it.
Is fiber cable still extremely delicate? No.
Yes and no.
It's
definitely,
it is malleable. You can do kind of this, kind of like a rope, but it's essentially when you give it like a hard point, and even sometimes I've done that. Sometimes even to our fiber, and it still didn't fully break.
Yeah,
but signal was really crappy, so it still works, but it's just not gonna be good.
This shit's the shit's like super thin. If you think about it, I was saying if you have like a thin enough cable, you could softly wrap it around your hand and it'll be fine.
But it's not like it was.
Yeah,
if you can give me like a minute or two, I can go and grab some.
Yeah. Dude, like back a long time ago when I was in the Marine Corps, we were running fiber lines, and we were running that fucking thick fiber. That shit was fucking like this fucking wide.
Oh yeah.
Fucking that thick ass fiber, right? And we had this dude in a 7-ton truck. I hope that explains itself. It's a 7-ton truck, and he fucking we used to have these road guards. I guess I could call them road guards or whatever. They kind of look like just like little ramps or whatever, like little kind of things you just drive over, and they had tunnels through them so that you could lay the wire or whatever. Some dude didn't do that with the fiber. Dude, you're talking about these fiber cables that are fucking this fucking thick, and they are fucking hundreds of feet long, cost tens of thousands of dollars. If you break any portion of it, it's fucking done. It's done. Just even the smallest crack is done. Dude drove over in the fucking 7-ton because the dude didn't put it in the road guards yet. each other in the 710. And like we heard this shit happen, and we were just like, it had never happened before, and all of us were fucking stunned. But the shit didn't break. The shit didn't break. We were so fucking surprised when that shit didn't break. We were like, oh, it still works. All right, good.
So
Keep it.
the actual diameter of the actual cable itself, and
going to class. I love this, man. Let's do this.
the diameter of the actual cable itself to the actual fiber on the inside is super thin. So
if y'all don't even know, that's actually 2 lines what he's holding.
So right there is
technically
an earbud. There's an earbud. And then there's also, hold on, there you go. Fiber, earbud. Earbud is actually
zoomed in.
zoomed in.
Oh, okay, so that's one cable. Most of the fiber optics I've seen, because light can only travel in one direction, so it's technically most of the fiber cables I've seen have been 2 cables that are kind of just like side to side, because one's going one way and one's going the other way.
So you're talking about, I know which one you're talking about. You're probably talking about a bi-die. This one is where you can actually send 2 different lights.
In both directions?
In both directions.
Damn, technology's going crazy.
So essentially before we actually had cable TV, right?
Yeah.
You can send a light signal on it in one wave for like internet. Mm-hmm. And then you can be like, all right, well, then let's go ahead and do TV on another wavelength and send it both in one way.
On the same line?
On the same line.
Y'all don't even understand. That's fucking nuts. That's nuts.
So essentially that's what we did. So we had TV on one wavelength and internet on another wavelength, and they would coexist all on the same line.
And it's able to differentiate which light pulses and which frequency is
exactly,
what?
Because they run at different frequencies.
Nuts. That's nuts.
So the internet is recognized on one frequency. So let's say if something happens to the concentrator for the light, for like the TV would go out, but internet would still be running perfectly fine.
And you're talking about multiple different light frequencies for different services going bi-directionally on the same line.
Yes.
That's fucking nuts. You're blowing my fucking mind right now. That's wild.
So that's honestly what we've been doing a lot of here recently, is because we just kind of like, we're like, okay, we're fully done with TV. There's not even a need for this equipment to be in here, and we've just now been pulling it out. So now we have so much more room, and we're like, okay, well then if we have this much room, we can technically add upgrades to our internet service and increase the speed of our service, because we have all this new space now. So that, bro, we be like, all right, let's do it. Let's go ahead and put in new equipment.
Because we talked about a few months ago how with some guy at some college figured out a way to like crank it up to like a terabyte a second.
Yeah. I mean, it can be done as long as you have the equipment that can read it.
Yeah.
Dude, what was that?
How does a mofo? I'll tell you that.
I know there's a company in Japan that did it for a while, but I think there was a company in Korea. Is it Korea or Japan? I don't know. They did it, and they were like at 5 petabytes a second. Fucking help me, Google.
And honestly, for something like that, that's also kind of dependent on kind of like the optics that you use as well. Like I've just being at this job, I've learned so much about fiber. It's insane.
I was close, but I also was extremely far off. Yep. Current world record for internet speed is 402 terabytes per second. Terabits. Bytes and bits are extremely different. So yeah, terabits and terabytes are extremely different. So yeah, terabits per second.
That's too fast. The computer would lag. We're eventually going to hit a point where the information can be processed faster than
It can be sent. It can be sent faster than it can be processed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost where it's at right now. It can be sent faster than it can be processed.
It's gonna know what you're gonna click on before you click on it. It's gonna be that fast.
Okay, Google.
Hey, Google's already trying, you know? Hey, we heard you talking about dog treats.
And all of a sudden, dog trees pop up on you. You're like, whoa, wait, bro, stay out of my head. Oh yeah, so this is the fiber that we essentially that we install. So on the outside, it plugs in. Other side plugs into the actual to your it can either plug outside to your ONT or inside to your ONU optical network utility. So it's been awesome.
We were talking about the price of the PS5 Pro, and we ended up in class about fibers.
Hey,
We were all over the place.
look, I've been.
And that's what you get for listening to us on a speaker.
So that's what I wanted to say. If you're coming back to the PS5 Pro, which I did myself, sorry.
Dude,
I want to talk about the price. The price of it is. Say again?
Are we not done with the PS5?
No, I want to talk about it a little more. The price of it is fucking ridiculous.
It is.
I think it's fair for what you were getting, but for a console, yeah, it's a little ridiculous. And some people started coming with this shit, like, oh, the PS3 was $600 at release or whatever. I'm like, yeah, that only lasts like a year or two maybe, and then they quickly dropped the price of that shit.
Yeah.
And they were certainly taking a loss at it. But everyone started coming with like, oh yeah, $700. Like, well, if you factor in the price of inflation, whatever these consoles cost like $800, $900 at release. I'm like, oh yeah, fuck that bullshit. We're not talking about inflation. We're talking about current times right now. Moving down the road, you're going to talk about inflation and shit, and you're like, oh well, the price of the PS5 Pro. You're buying the PS7 Pro, and like, oh, it's actually not that much. It's only $1,000. If you look at the price of inflation for the PS5 Pro, it was like $2,000 when it released. Yeah, fuck that bullshit. It's about current times. $700 is a fucking lot for a console.
It is and it isn't. If this is the console that we got 2.5 years ago, I'd be fine.
2.5? You were talking about 4 years ago. It's been a fucking while.
Oh man.
I know, right? I know you didn't. I'm not trying to like correct you. I'm just trying to help you realize like how long it's fucking been, because there's been no fucking games. It kind of just came out. It was just here.
You gotta remember, they came out before the beginning of COVID, and right around then.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
so it's been a long time.
I don't know. These last couple of years, kind of just like turned it all off and just write it out.
Yeah, I think everybody has.
Dude, this generation.
We wish it would stop.
It's so weird because the PS5 is actually a great console. The Xbox Series X is actually a great console, and I'll admit that. I mean, the consoles, like, even I got into PC gaming right around the consoles, and I got introduced to PC gaming, and I understood how awesome it actually is. Like, when you can have the resolution, what you can do, frame rates, expandability, adaptability, variety, blah 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 blah. And I was playing the PS5, and I was like, damn, this console is a shit ton better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, I feel like this generation has released the best console, and like, I would say like going from the PS2 to the PS3 was a slight step up. It was a marginal step. It was better, but realistically, it wasn't that much better. And then the same thing for the PS4.
I think
from the
3 to 4 was a much bigger step.
I think it was a bigger step. It definitely was a bigger step from like 1 to 2, small step. 2 to 3, it was a decent step. 3 to 4 was a pretty big step. But I think the jump from the 4 to the 5 was a fucking substantial jump.
It was.
For both companies, right? Xbox, and their variations, PlayStation and their variations. Each of these generations has been it.
I think the only thing that really held back is holding back the Xbox was the S.
Yeah, Xbox Series X should never have happened.
Yeah. I actually was talking with somebody about that.
You're talking about a fucking scam? That's a fucking scam. Releasing the Xbox Series S was a fucking scam.
Yeah.
And people bought into that shit. They mass produced more of them because it was probably cheaper to produce, but they felt like they still made their money back. That's not a fucking next gen console. There wasn't even a previous gen console. That shit was a fucking step down.
It was an upgrade to the one, but not by much. Like
Dude, this was
hardware wise, it was, but it was diskless. So, but anyway, all right, we're gonna go through the next two really fast.
I'm not done.
We're done.
Dude, I was gonna say that the jump from the PS4 to the PS5 was probably the biggest leap in technology and feature-wise, and like
In a console, yeah.
games in a console, and then they just squandered it and didn't really do much. And if we're gonna jump topics, you know, it's Sony and Microsoft buying up all these fucking studios and then doing nothing with them.
Oh no, Sony's trying to do something with it. I mean, they did Concord.
I guess they have been. They have definitely been putting out more than Microsoft has. Microsoft has been trying to buy up all this shit and restrict Sony from what they can get on their content, you know. But I feel like these companies have been buying up all this shit and then doing nothing with it.
Well, let's be fair with that, though. Microsoft and Nintendo have both approached Sony several times about partnering in certain games and stuff, and Sony keeps refusing because they just want to be pricks. So that's why I feel Microsoft.
Say it like it is, bud.
You know, I'm just saying, like, they've been approached several times and they just won't do it, and I don't understand.
Greed.
Yeah.
Greed. They all definitely have their portions of greed.
Speaking of Sony, so this is going to be fun. Reviewers are refusing to review the remake of Lollipop Chainsaw because they refused to do Sony censorship.
Wait, I've seen Lollipop Chainsaw. I wasn't following it too close. There's a remake?
Yeah.
Or a remaster?
Yeah.
Which one?
Both. They released them simultaneously.
They released a remake and a remaster at the same time.
It's the same game. So when you load up the game, you could choose either playing the remake or the remaster. Yeah.
I feel like I just hit the Matrix in that one. What?
Yeah, dude. Like, you definitely fucked me up with it. Like, what?
Yeah, when you buy the game, you can play the original with updated graphics and all that, or you can play the remake, which is called Repop.
Lollipop Repop.
Yeah.
One, shout out to the motherfucker that made that goddamn name.
I don't know with that one, the mathin'.
But
Lollipop Repop, that's pretty dope.
But here's
I've seen it. I feel like it was a remaster where people were just like, for some reason, going back to that game.
No, they launched it. It's out. You can go right now and buy it, and I don't think it's full price.
Is it digital only?
I don't know if it's digital only.
Because I don't sell a disc for it.
But I've been watching somebody play it.
Is it only on the PlayStation?
All I know is that
Lollipop Chainsaw Repop 4049. What's the 49? What's with the 49? Fucking weirdos.
You couldn't just go ahead and just take the other like this.
It's also on Steam.
This came out 3 days ago,
Yeah.
and it's 10% off. But even still, it's $45 full price.
Yeah, it is on Steam, but reviewers are refusing to review it because the developers refused to do Sony censorship on it. They pushed back against it just like Stellar Blade did.
Oh, they pushed back Sony's censorship.
Yeah.
So they're the heroes of the story.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay, good.
I'm just saying, but reviewers are refusing to review it because they're not censoring it. Which I don't know if you've ever played or watched that game. It doesn't really need censorship.
Yes, it does. Sorry. Yep.
Censorship.
Yep.
But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting little tidbit. It's like, oh, you're not censoring yourself, so we're not going to review your product.
Got it.
I can't say anything without us getting banned.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. 1984.
You know, man, that's so stupid, and that's so fucking. That's so.
We're gonna do a little bit of an after hours.
It's too PCs, too woke.
Now, see, the thing is with that though, it's dangerous for sellers like me. Okay, and I'll tell you why. So it is now more illegal for me to sell a game to a minor than it is cigarettes or alcohol. In the state of Missouri, it's 5 years in prison or a $500,000 fine.
Wait. I'm sorry. So say that again.
Years?
You said it's
5
harder.
years. It is more illegal for me to sell a game to a minor than it is cigarettes or alcohol. I'll get more in trouble than somebody selling cigarettes or alcohol to a minor. Okay. So by them not, that may be why GameStop's not selling a hard copy yet, because it's too dangerous for us. Because the first parent we have that complains and then sues us for it without a proper rating on it, it's a huge deal now because everything's blamed on video games.
Yeah, which has been scientifically proven to not be the issue, but
yeah,
it's
of course
it's
I think there's a little bit of give and take for that one. I think there's a little bit of give and take, but I mean, yeah. I feel like video games help us get out some of the, I don't know, intrusive thought tendencies. Continue. So Rathcon, do you not? I mean, because you still have licenses. I mean, there's still licenses on games or licensing maturity ratings, whatever, blah blah blah, and something that's rated, M for mature.
I saw that legendary Jay.
Yeah, I mean, so what I was trying to say is you're talking about parents complaining, right? But still, for like a game like that, the parent has to be the one to buy it, or if you have someone where you suspect them of being not
sure. The parent has to buy it, but we have to express the concern that it's immature. If we don't do that, it's on us. So when they come up with Grand Theft Auto, I have to say this game is immature. Are you okay with that? And I have to turn it over and show them what it's mature for.
Yeah. Dude, I have a very, very exact experience about this. I was trying to get my mom to buy a game for me. I was buying Grand Theft Auto, and the dude was like intently telling my mom that it was mature. And I was like, shut the fuck up.
It's because we get in a lot of trouble. And I'm not going to jail for some kid that wants to play GTA with his friends. I don't give a shit. So,
I understand because, I fully see that side of it now. I mean, I remember when I was a kid and I was going through that experience and I was like, dude, shut the fuck up. Stop saying that. Just play a fucking game. And then I just play it and I'll be fine. Right? And I can, even as I grow up and I see that, I look back on that situation. The homie was fucking fully right. To say I wish people would probably have been more aggressive about that. Like, yo.
And there's games we've had to take off the shelf. There was a game called I don't know if you guys ever heard of it. I never played. It was called Oni Chambra Banana Split Edition. And if you haven't heard of it, look it up because it's a doozy. But we had it on our walls and we had to take it off our walls because of the graphics on it. It was
like
women
mature graphics,
like really mature, like girls in G-strings that were made of bananas and strawberries over. Like it was
I had to finish typing. Like I kind of stopped when you went there.
It was intense.
He's like, before I even finish typing, you finish that sentence. That ain't happening.
Yeah,
I was struggling.
But you can still buy Leisure Suit Larry.
Yeah. So by them not putting, a rating on it it sucks for us, but at the same time, we're just not going to sell it at that point. It's just too dangerous at that point for us.
Yeah.
I get it. I mean, if they don't want to do that, that's fine, but they're not going to sell it in a lot of retail stores.
Right. Which is where the digital age might get a little dangerous with, children with their parents' credit card.
100%.
Exactly.
Because the parents get the systems and they sign up in their account on their name, which is not flagged as minor. So then the kid can just buy whatever they want with the credit card.
Yeah, if you want to set up a minor's account, you have to have a separate subscription for them.
Yep.
Yes.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Sony's horrible for that. Sony, Nintendo, you can buy family packs, but on Sony, if you want to have multiple accounts on your console, you have to have multiple subscriptions.
It used to not be that way. It used to be as long as you're on the same console, you could create sub accounts.
I can do that on my Xbox. I cannot do that on my PlayStation.
I've done it. They might have taken it away. I'm not saying you're wrong. They might have taken it away because there was a time where I did that, where I wanted to like create different usernames and shit like that. So I created sub accounts under my primary account, and you still had the PS Plus benefits. You didn't have to buy a new subscription. You inherently had it being a sub to the primary.
Not anymore.
Matt, you don't have internet. You don't count. I'm sorry.
Man, you can't even be in this combo, bro. You ain't even got internet.
All right, I'm looking at the Banana Split Edition, Oni Chabra Z2 Chaos Banana Split Edition. It's not that bad. What is everyone talking about?
It's for kids. It is.
Yeah, bro, my man's
Okay, yeah.
It's not that bad.
Yeah. Okay. No,
I mean, if you know,
when you add in the word kids, yeah, it's still not that. It's still not that bad though.
Oh.
That image of she's in
little Tommy comes up to his mommy. What's that?
Oh my goodness.
I'm like,
You can't
oh,
see
well.
anything. You can't see anything where little Tommy's like, "What's that?" I'm on images right now, and I'm scrolling through. There's nothing that I see where little Tommy be like, "Ooh, what's that?"
Well,
I don't understand why she has a
bananas
split
over.
right there where I have a round.
like-
There's none of that. What are you talking about? There's none of that. But yeah, I mean, shit, they're dressed
Like,
somewhat.
Highly provocative.
She's in a full dress. You can see she's in a full dress, but yes, the one standing next to her, she's at least she has a cowboy hat on. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Hey, she's got something on. It's cowboy.
She's in a bikini. I mean, you go to the beach, it's the same thing.
so being a parent, I feel two ways about this. One, obviously, I don't want my child, especially my daughter, to see that. But at the same time,
If I had a son, I would want him to see that.
no, not necessarily. But I can see it being pulled from shelves to prevent it. But at the same time, like, you see worse on HBO.
I mean, we kept it behind the counter. We just couldn't have it on the floor. So if somebody came to ask for it, we would gladly sell it to them.
Like,
Oh, I thought you were talking.
I've played Honey Pop, but I'm not going to play that in front of my daughter.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about like banned booked. Coming back to what you said,
No,
Griff.
it wasn't banned. No.
No,
Okay.
the
Griff,
games.
Coming back to what you're saying, Griff. You're saying it's the same thing you can see on HBO. I don't think there's anything on HBO content that is that is suitable for children.
That's fair. But there's conversations for another day. So apparently there was a report that came out with Diablo 4, and apparently they have made this year $150 million in microtransactions.
I was gonna say,
50 million of that's me. I'm sorry.
damn man, let me get a job
I
again.
have a problem.
Roll me out.
Honestly though, like I was expecting that number to be a lot bigger.
I think it's a pretty big number. You're talking about that game's been out for a year and a half, and you're talking about just microtransactions.
Yeah.
But for me, I can see Griff's side because as Blizzard, when they have 3 to 9 million WoW subscribers that pay $15 a month, that money is nothing to them. That's change in the couch.
Dang.
Yeah,
It's a
you're not
couch
wrong.
change.
You're not wrong. I mean, all right, give you an idea of how successful Blizzard is with their microtransactions. When they launched StarCraft 2, all right, they also launched the first buyable mount for World of Warcraft. The mount in World of Warcraft made them more money than the entirety of StarCraft 2.
Dang.
I remember watching a video of some, like it was a spoof. It was just a comedy video of someone buying the mount. And when you said World of Warcraft, I'm like, yo, this is a transaction that leads to microtransactions.
Yeah. And now there's
And
like
you
40
just-
you can buy.
Yeah. Dude. That's nuts, man. That put it into perspective of me. Like you're talking about Blizzard with WoW, their monthly, or like how much you have to pay monthly to play WoW. Their microtransactions, whether it be from WoW. What was the
at their peak, they had 9 million players at $15 a month. I'm no math
12. They
whiz,
got up to 12, didn't they?
a lot. Oh, they may have got up to 12, yeah.
I think they were up to 12 in Lich King.
And that's 1 month. Like that's absurd.
Yeah.
You said 12 million?
Yeah.
At $15 a month.
Yep.
How did I get 3? What the fuck are you talking about?
So 3 million. I think they're around 3 or 4 million right now. It's dropped a lot, but
Well, I mean, they haven't. The game hasn't been the best for a while.
Oh.
That and also Final Fantasy 14 is holding a large portion of the market. Not as much as it used to be, but because people realize that, oh, hey, if I want to play this type of game, I cannot have a social life. But speaking of social, all right, we are going to dive into something that might be a tad controversial. So if you have an issue with political ideology, back out now. Not you guys are stuck. But
You're forcing me to deal with this? You don't even pay me. You're forcing me to deal with this? Come on, man. I would gladly sit here and listen.
But so there has been a pattern over the last year, and we're going to talk about it. So we're going to enter into Griffcast After Hours. All right. So if any of you guys want to back out, you're free to. But I'm going to bring up a point here, and I put it in the notes, that what is perceived to be toxic masculinity sells video games. It sells the shit out of video games. Now, what do I mean by this? Think back over the most successful games over the last year and what they were. Right now, you have Warhammer 40K, which anybody I know that's played that game loves it. You had Helldivers. You had I had another one listed. I forgot it off the top of my head. But you compare those games to Concord, to Flintlock, to Assassin's Creed when it comes out, because it's not going to...
I see where you're going. Continue.
But all of these games that are failing and flopping because they're trying to appeal to an audience that doesn't have jobs.
Touche.
I'm sorry, if you have time to be loud on Twitter, you don't have time to be working.
So the flip side to that, though, is companies, as a company standpoint, they're going to appeal to what's going to make them the most money.
Yes, but there's a massive failed experiment going on, I think.
So, Rathcon, I had nothing wrong with your statement. Your statement was 100% accurate. The only thing that you needed to change to it was put the word try in front of it.
Sure.
So the reason I'm bringing this up is because, like I said, we have seen the most successful games that have happened in the last year have been games that are all about, duty and honor and brotherhood and everything like that. And I'm not excluding anybody of the female persuasion. I mean, Helldivers, you start off as, a female character, and, there's, but then you have games like, go ahead.
I understand where you're going. You're talking, like, when you spoke about Helldivers or even, Space Marine 2, you're playing as, well, Helldivers 2, you do have the option to play as a feminine character or woman body style. But you are playing as a gritty, just in the fucking dirt, just dealing with the shit and just fucking powering through and just taking all the shit. Especially in Helldivers. I mean, not Helldivers, but Space Marine 2, you're just fucking just bashing shit in, and you cannot be soft. You have to be fucking hard. You have to be gritty. You know, I mean, not to play the video game, obviously, but to be that person in that persona, in that character, playing in that moment of time, in that reality, you cannot have any hesitations, any reservations. You need to be the ruthless motherfucker that you need to be.
Yep. There's softness to it. Forspoken, another one. Like a lot of games developers, we actually had a huge conversation about this in our Discord chat not too long ago. Of a lot of these companies were being quote unquote canceled or being harassed because they didn't have the right ideology or the right perception. And so they gave, and they're like, all right, we're going to hire people that have these ideologies and can make this perception happen. And we're going to fill our company with it. And then those people entered the company, made those games, and now they can't get rid of them without the same sort of harassment. Like, it's a good example. Call of Duty. There was more ideological representation in the last Call of Duty than there was American flags. Was it Call of Duty that I'm thinking of? Or was it the one before that?
The one before that?
Or I don't remember. I don't know if it was the newest Call of Duty or the one before that. Where you could set up like all your banners and stuff like that. And they had...
Oh, yeah. There
was like 600 available banners, and only one of them was the American flag. Yes.
Well, we're talking about 600 banners. And you're talking about only one being an American flag. Was one also the Brazilian flag? Was one also the Jamaican flag?
No, but we're talking
one also.
We're talking about an American game made in America, for a specific audience.
Pause. Call of Duty is an American game, sure, made by an American company, but it is produced for trying to reach the demographic of the entire world.
I am talking about what was available in America that I can personally see.
I would not say that it's any different what you can see if you are living in Africa or if you're living in China, if you were playing that game, other than it being in a different language. And then I would say there's probably small parts of censorship to what they have. Say if you're talking about the banners and you're talking about the flags, if maybe the transgender flag is part of one of those banners, that banner might not be available in...
It wasn't, actually. It wasn't available in China.
Right.
China and the Middle East, those flags and banners were not available.
Correct. As I would expect.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to say because it's an American game and there's so many banners, are you expecting there to be multiple versions of the American flag?
I'm talking more or less about as a whole. Not trying to focus on the one example.
Okay.
And I'm not saying the game was bad or the games have been bad, except for maybe Concord, which got shut down. It was 2 weeks. It lasted 2 weeks. And now those, and this isn't just video games. This is, video games, movies, shows. This is everywhere. Like some of Amazon's most successful movies have been stuff like The Tomorrow War and, movies like that.
Tomorrow War got a lot of pushback.
It did only
because it starred Chris Pratt, who has very hardcore Christian ideologies.
Yeah. But it was a movie about a guy going to war to protect his family, and then, it's a father-daughter movie. And it was promoting family over anything else. Which is why it publicly got shamed, but it was still successful. The newest Deadpool, it doesn't have a lot of ideology in it, but it was extremely successful because they weren't forcing it. If it happens naturally, go for it. But games like, once again, Concord, because it's the most recent example. Yeah.
If it's a movie or a game, it can't happen naturally. There has to be a script involved. There has to be writing. Someone has to intentionally put it in there.
And are we just talking about like because they added flags of different countries in the Call of Duty?
No.
Okay, because that's always been a thing.
Yeah, no. I'm talking more or less. I'm trying to keep this as PC as I can.
I understand what you're saying. You're trying to say if certain content, if it's developed more naturally within a plot line, it's well received. But whereas in other content, in other media, if that certain aspect is kind of forced upon you, if it happens ungenuinely, if it happens, I guess forcefully to make you understand, try to recognize it, and try to come to terms with it, there's more pushback.
Yeah. And it's nothing against, how to phrase this without sounding like a douchebag. I don't think I can really, but
You're talking about like just between me and you, like Borderlands, the newest Borderlands 3,
a little bit, yeah.
where it was kind of
Or
pushed in your
Wonderlands.
face.
Wonderlands was in your face.
Yeah, I get. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's nothing wrong with people living how they want to live or loving who they love or anything like that. Nothing wrong with that as long as, it's consensual.
Ooh, I have a great comparison.
But what I'm trying to the point I am trying to make is that things that appeal to an audience that actually has traditional values is, especially more modernly, going to be more successful. That's the point I'm trying to make. So games that, where you are actually standing for something, the game, or movies or games or shows or whatever, if you, the interactor, or the story is about standing for something, defending something, is going to be, and holding true to just say traditional values, is going to resonate more with audiences than not. Don't know. Don't think I can say that anymore, PC. But like I said, Warhammer 40K. Warhammer 40K has been so successful that Space Marine 2, has been so successful that Games Workshop, the owner of 40K, is backtracking all the crap they were pushing 3 months ago, which is also the reason that the 40K show is no longer happening for Amazon.
Interesting.
Okay. But yeah, it's the whole reason that Cavill backed out of it as of right now.
Because you're saying that Games Workshop, 40K, I guess, as a whole, the show, they were trying to push an agenda. They were trying to push some content. Not speaking specifically about what that actually is, but they were trying to push some agenda and some content onto the viewership, onto their fan base that they feel is more progressive, and they're trying to push that onto the fans and realizing that it's, you know, not has the reception that they would have wanted, so now they're walking that back.
Yes.
I think a lot of companies are kind of doing that. There are a lot of companies, they were pushing a agenda. They were pushing certain topics, certain content, certain progressiveness, and they were pushing it pretty hardcore. And sometimes they were getting some positive feedback. Sometimes they were getting some negative feedback. As it is with anything, there is no topic that you can have where you're going to please everybody.
No, there's not.
Unless you're Keanu Reeves. So
I will say I did, in my line of work, I did get a lot of positive feedback about the Wonderlands. Now, I'm sure there was a lot of negative feedback because of it too, but
Wonderlands had amazing gameplay.
Overwhelmingly, that it was, people were super excited about it.
Wonderlands had amazing gameplay, and the characters you got to play as were fantastic. It was more or less some of the environments you were forced into. Like, my biggest gripe about Borderlands 3 was you're not the hero. Borderlands 1 or 2, you're the hero. You're the, you know, you're the vault hunter. You know, you're the man. You're the woman. You're the BA. So I'm trying to censor myself a little bit. My daughter's within earshot, so I'm trying to be better about my language when I'm at home, even though we don't do this. We do this.
You got it, man. You got this.
Yeah, but in Borderlands 3, all the NPCs are the heroes. You're not the hero of the story. As soon as you beat a boss, it goes to a cutscene where one of the NPCs shows up and beats that boss.
Oh.
Yeah. On every major story boss, that happens.
They're kill thieves. They're stealing your kill.
Basically.
They're fucking, what do they use to fucking call that shit? Like in Call of Duty, where like you kind of just like sit back and wait for two people to finish, and you just come in and finish them off. What?
Third party,
yeah.
But yeah, but what I'm saying is a lot of content that's been coming out recently, and like even like Disney's walked back a lot. Like Disney just did a huge purge, and they have a lineup coming up with, you know, that still was like, hey, we made it, we may as well push it out there. But like movies like Inside Out 2, extremely successful, did not, you know, push ideologies. They're just like, this is a coming of age story for this girl, here you go.
Let's just keep it simple.
Yeah, simple.
So,
and I think that a lot of people are missing the old days of good versus evil. Everything's got to be gray now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this question: if a character, if it wasn't this day and age, it was 10, 15 years ago, okay, and a character had came into a video game that happened to be one way or another, let's say, would it have been an issue back then? Or it isn't only an issue now because of the climate of the world for a lot of people?
Yes and no.
I'll say yes and no too.
I'll give you an example. I think one of the best gay characters that I've ever interacted with in a video game was an Anthem.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. That was, I love Anthem. Sorry. God, I wish I would have gone far.
But the bartender in Anthem is a lesbian.
Yes.
But you don't know that unless you go through all of the dialogue. She's not upfront of, you know, here's the way
She's not flamboyant with it.
Well, here's the way I word it. She was a great character who happened to be a lesbian. She wasn't a lesbian first. She was a great character who just happened to be a lesbian.
Okay.
There's there's a difference there. When your race, sex, gender identity, or whatever is your character, it's a flat character. I don't see that as being a good character. I enjoy a good character regardless of what they are in the bedroom.
Right.
So,
and that's one thing that I was gonna say. I know you mentioned earlier, like, you know, if it happens naturally. When it comes to writing a character, when it comes to writing a plot, when it comes to creating a video game, nothing is natural. It has to be planned. It has to be written. It has to be thought out, and it has to be produced. But I understand where you're coming at. When if it happens, I guess the best word I can say is like organically. If it happens smoothly, if it happens, you know, you're talking about like, oh, we have to have, you know, a character that fits this content that acts this way, right? Compared to having to say like, oh, we have this character, you know, maybe they are this way, you know, maybe they aren't, whatever. If it just happens, and it just happens with a smooth flow of how the character is, right?
yeah.
And I understand what you mean. Like, you know, it feels like, you know, sometimes when you're creating a character, they will definitely interject something that has nothing to do with their story, has nothing to do with their plot, has no effect on the game, the movie, or whatever. But they throw in this thing, and they're like, oh, by the way. And they kind of just throw it in there like, you know, that's information that we didn't need. It was not information that was relevant to so-and-so, whatever, so on and so forth. Right? Did I say what I wanted to say?
Yes and no, I think. All right. An example though, like, of strong female characters. Gina Carano in The Mandalorian season 1.
Dude, I want to talk about that shit so fucking much. I want to talk about that shit. That shit was so great because at the same time that happened, there was like 2 different shows that had strong female scenes that were fucking weird. Well, so there was The Mandalorian. Sorry.
Well, here's my example of that. Gina Carano was the epitome, as Cara Dune in The Mandalorian season 1, was the epitome of a strong female character who maintained her femininity. Why is that word so hard for me to say?
Femininity is a weird word. You're not talking about just her character, Cara Dune. You're also talking about Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
And then also the other female Mandalorian. So that's the one scene that I want to talk about was in the finale.
But that happened so naturally, it worked.
It happened so naturally. It was so natural. I didn't even fucking realize it until someone said it to me.
Yeah.
Which also, I guess, is a bad point. But also at the same time, it's also not a bad point because I watched these 3 women just go and fucking storm this base and just manhandle. Ooh, I guess that's a bad word. They fucking shithoused everybody. They went through, and I was like, "Oh, go women, go women, go!" But they just went through, and they just fucking dominated everything. They just went through, and it was so natural. I remember like seeing them on the elevator. They were riding up the elevator, and they're just like, all right, trying to jump back in it. Dude, that happened so naturally. And at the same time, they had the boys. Was it season 2, where they had the like you know, girls get it done thing, and that was kind of like cringe because they were kind of forcing it on you, or like Starlight. Was her name Yuki? I can't remember.
Yeah.
But the 3 girls, and then Maeve, they were beating up Storm. I can't think of names right now. I'm a little intoxicated. Be careful. They were beating up Stormfront. They had the 3 girls beating up Stormfront, and it's like the girls get it done. The girls get it done. Whatever, so on and forth. They also had Marvel's Endgame come out, where they had the female scene where all the females got together and they all, you know, protected the gauntlet or whatever. Those scenes were forced. The boys was not quite as forced, but it was still forced.
Yeah, the scene in Endgame was.
In Endgame, it was fucking forced as shit. Yeah. That was so forced.
It felt so unnatural.
But then The Mandalorian, they had that one scene. It was not forced at all. Like, he was sitting there spitting out the game plan and like, hey, this is what we're going to do. You 3 are just going to go fucking in the front door and fuck shit up. And that was the fucking game plan. And they're like, all right, let's fucking rock and roll. Let's go do it. And they fucking went and did the damn thing. I had no idea that I was just like that. I was woman to see a woman empowering scene, and it felt so good because I mean, just like, oh damn, that actually is a woman empowering scene, but they didn't fucking throw it down my throat.
Yeah.
They were just like, you know what? We need some people to fucking bum rush the gate. Yo, you three, just go do it. Just go in there and just go fuck shit up. And they fucking did the damn thing, and it was such a great scene. Well, being female empowering, but also not throwing it down my throat.
Yeah, because it happened naturally, and I think that has to do with obviously writing and directing.
Mm-hmm. By creating, I mean, obviously it didn't happen naturally. I mean, they had to think that out. They had to plan for it, but they did it in such a way that it conveyed a natural, smooth feel.
Yeah, it let the women be powerful without losing their femininity.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt natural, and I didn't even bat an eye watching that scene.
Right. I'll give another example is fucking Sadie Adler in Red Dead Redemption 2. She was a very powerful female character that they did not ram down your throat. She just, in a natural aspect, kind of just took over her role. She went from being a damsel in distress, from someone that had character development, very well thought out character development, and that kind of naturally, in a way, over time, became just a great character. Became, I was getting ready to say bad bitch, but I felt that was kind of like too on agenda. But she became a very strong character, whether it being female or male, that, you know, came into the right of their own, you know, was able to take charge of their situation and, you know, bring it to their terms, if that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, became a very powerful character of the storyline, but in a very natural way that was not forced upon you, that would be like, oh look, it's a female and she's super strong, right? Someone that naturally came into character on their own, took charge, and it was just like, yeah, we need to get shit done. Let's just go fucking do it.
Yeah. And like I said, when it happens naturally or anything like that, no problems with it. It's the I don't want to say obviously when it's forced, but when they do it in a way that makes it so, example that I can think of right now off the top of my head, the Batgirl series for HBO, when they were showing the previews for that before they shit canned the whole thing.
That was such a bad show.
They, you know, in the trailer, they're like, you know, hey, the suit looks good on you, or, you know, the suit did this, and it goes, yeah, now that's on a woman. It's like, you're not going to replace Batman like that. You're just not going to do that.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, let's be fair. DC sucks. Batman sucks. So, all right.
Wave.
just the just the awkward.
But I don't disagree with you on that. My biggest problem with DC is that everybody's a freaking god, and like the fact that the planet that everybody's on is still in existence is like, I mean, yeah. You know, that's why I think Marvel was always more successful, is that everybody's human.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's human, has their flaws. Even though they have flaws in DC, like their flaws are like
They're superficial
not
at that
really
point in time.
flaws.
I think
Not
the
really
most
flaws.
the most flawed character, or two most flawed characters they had in the Justice League, was the original Green Lantern, and Hal Jordan. He had a lot of issues, and Aquaman.
Mm-hmm.
Aquaman had a lot of issues, but once again, both those characters were basically gods. Green Lantern's power limit is his imagination.
True. I feel like Green Lantern is the most humanized character because his weakness is fear, whereas humans have a lot of fear. I mean, it's the most relatable thing.
Yeah.
He was chosen, and it's like he's chosen because like that's one thing that I feel like the Green Lantern movie got right. As bad as that movie was, I feel like there's one thing that they got right. It was just like, you weren't chosen because you have no fear. You were chosen because you have the ability to overcome fear.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing though. It's and actually that's actually a really good point.
I'm TCP. Wrath wasn't speaking.
I'm bringing up the fact of the DC versus Marvel thing. It's actually a really good point. It actually is the same issue that we have with modern media, just portrayed differently. Like DC is just full of nothing but God characters. Every character, every hero, every villain has the power to end all things. Whereas in Marvel, everybody's got humanity, and it flows better. It's more natural. Like some of the best arcs in Marvel are because
Spider-Man 2, he was too human to save the world. He was dealing with too many human issues.
Well, that's Peter Parker. Peter Parker that's always been his thing.
Is that any different from what you're trying to talk about? You're talking about he was too human. He was too human. He was too busy, trying to deal with his romantic life. He was too busy trying to worry about his career, his education, and all that was just a huge weight on him as he was trying to deal with stress and deal with life and try to deal with everything as a human person, that he was unable to perform as he could as a extraordinary human. Right? He had too much weight upon him.
I'm going to agree with you on Spider-Man, just not the context. Spider-Man 2, Peter Parker got taken out by a fridge.
Spider-Man 2 is one of the best superhero movies of all time, and I will.
Oh, you're talking about the movie.
I will. Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were talking about the game.
Oh no! Yes, yeah. Sorry, I'm talking about the movie with Tobey Maguire.
Oh yeah, no. Spider-Man 2 was amazing.
Yes. So, he's dealing with his romantic aspects. He's dealing with
Tom Holland is a way better Spider-Man, but sure.
I don't disagree. See, here's the way I look at it: is
Tobey was a better Peter Parker, Andrew was a better Spider-Man, Tom Holland is a good all three.
I think Andrew Garfield was the best Spider-Man, and Andrew Garfield was the worst Spider-Man. And Toby's right in the middle. Well, sorry. And Tobey Maguire is the worst Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield is the best Spider-Man, and Tom Holland is like a balance of them. But
what? I think you said exactly what I said. You said exactly what I said.
Yeah. I'm just saying my opinion. I'm just stating my opinion.
Tobey Maguire is the best Peter Parker and a decent Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield.
I thought he was a horrible Peter Parker as well.
Spider-Man, but a terrible Peter Parker. Well, as Tom Holland is a good mix, good waypoint of both being Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
I will say this though: the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies were the best.
Absolutely, sure, except for 3. We
don't talk about 3.
We don't talk
3 about could have been the best if they didn't shoehorn in the Venom story. The Sandman story was amazing.
Ooh, yeah. We can agree to disagree. That's the great thing about America.
But like Doc Ock was perfect.
Doc Ock was perfect. Dude, Spider-Man 2. Dude, tell me your name and tell me where you live if you disagree that Spider-Man 2 is not the greatest live-action superhero movie of all time.
Me?
I will come and I will fight.
No, I do not agree with that at all.
Let's go. Write it down, bud. Go ahead. America is watching right now. Go ahead, write down your address. And I will be there. I will
gladly give you my address. I cannot agree with that at all.
I don't know.
Personally, it's just my opinion.
Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2 is one of the greatest live-action superhero movies of all time.
It would have been if Andrew Garfield was the Spider-Man. But I don't know. I can't think of a better superhero movie.
Better superhero movie or live action? That's why I was very clear.
Oh,
with my
live
words.
action. Live action, definitely.
Live action. Great superhero movie. It's also a Spider-Man movie. It's just animated.
I don't know. That's a tough one. What would I think is the greatest superhero movie?
Into the Spider-Verse, easily. Y'all fucking crazy. Fight every single one of y'all. There's no way. We're done here.
I don't know. That's tough because Darkman was pretty good back in the day.
Darkman?
Yeah.
Have I seen Darkman?
Or Phantom. The Phantom.
Oh. Oh my. Oh, I don't know.
The Phantom was so good that there's tribes in Africa that paint him on their shields.
Dude, the Phantom was a good fucking movie. Dude, and let's be real, The Dark Knight was a good fucking movie. Yo, the Dark Knight and Spider-Man 2 definitely duke it the fuck out when it comes to the best superhero movie.
I love the Nolan trilogy. I just hated Christian Bale as Batman.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, he had a good Bruce Wayne and he had a good Batman.
I honestly
He had a
prefer
good Bruce Wayne
Batfleck.
and a good Batman. I prefer Batfleck. Yes, correct. His Bruce Wayne, I'm not down with his Bruce Wayne. His Bruce Wayne was all right. His Bruce Wayne was all right, but I think he would have been a better Batman overall. He's probably my favorite Batman. Just sucks that he got those shitty movies. Dude. And Robert Pattinson, I need more time from him. I need another movie from him. Dude, that movie was so fucking good. You can't tell me that movie wasn't. That was a good fucking movie. It was a good detective movie, man.
Wrath, what's your favorite superhero movie?
You asked me?
That's a hard one.
It really is a hard question.
To be 100% honest, I really, and look, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Y'all not gonna like anything I say because I liked Endgame. So,
Endgame was great. Endgame was great.
Endgame, yeah,
I really like the Black Panther.
Black Panther was good.
And I don't like DC at all. I've never liked any DC, but I like Cavill as Superman.
Mm-hmm.
I think he makes a badass Superman.
Steel? Oh,
yeah.
Dude, Man of Steel was a good
I thought
movie.
Batman vs Superman was the worst movie I've ever seen.
So I mean, it was a bad movie if you watch the director's cut. And this is one thing I'm trying to say about Snyder. He had a great vision. And he made good movies, but he also made the flaw. And he did the same thing with Rebel Moon, of making a decent theatrical cut with making a spectacular director's cut.
Yeah.
And that was his fucking issue. You know, I won't say it as much for the Justice League because the Justice League wasn't that much of his fault because he dealt with personal issues and he left the Justice League, but he was probably still going to do the same thing, right? Because you watch the Justice League movie and you watch the Snyder cut, yeah, it's 4 hours, but dude, it's a fucking worthwhile 4 hours.
Yeah.
It's a fucking amazing film. It's a great film. But yeah, if you compare the Justice League to the Justice League Snyder cut, if you do Batman vs Superman versus the director's cut, the director's cut are great films. And I'm glad he didn't do that with Man of Steel. Man of Steel was a fucking great film, and people were always... I always hear people say that Man of Steel was not a good film, but they fucking love Henry Cavill as Superman. I'm like, you can't be one or the other. Because that set the foundation. It set that what it is for him to be Superman. You're talking about, everyone's like, oh, Henry Cavill Superman, moreover Christopher Reeves. You can't say that shit and then say Man of Steel is the fucking bad movie. You can't
Everybody's
fucking do that.
issue with Man of Steel is it looks like it was directed by Michael Bay.
There's not that many. Okay, never mind. There's a lot of fucking explosions. Yeah, there's a lot of explosions.
It wasn't just the explosions, it was also the shaky camera work.
There is a lot of shaky cam. Damn.
I'm gonna have to.
Griff. I see you, bud. You on point, right? You on point tonight? Okay.
Well,
Yo, Man of Steel was such a good fucking movie.
yeah, we're hitting the 2 hour mark. So.
Oh yeah,
That's all. Yeah, I'll go on.
You take it easy, brother.
Later, buddy.
Yeah, we're really after hours now. I don't know. It is. I like Black Panther. I
just like Chadwick Boseman a lot.
You what?
Yeah, dude.
I like the actor Chadwick Boseman a lot.
Yeah, Chadwick Boseman. Yeah, he was a great Black Panther. I really enjoyed Michael Jordan's character. I just felt that his drive was.
His drive was on point.
I don't know. I feel his
drive was on point. If WoW was still here, he would agree with me.
He was a great villain. I just thought that
his drive was on point. I fully understand it, dude. I get it. I don't want to get too politically wrong, and I don't want to kind of mess you up for a little bit because I understand you're coming, but I'm telling you, his drive was.
He wanted to solve gang violence by having more gang violence.
Dude, I mean, I wouldn't call it gang violence. Yes, it was very violent, and it was very. It's the word I'm looking for. Not even dictatorship, but yes, it is very violent and it's very controlling. But from his point of view, it's one of those great characters that you can put yourself into his shoes. And I felt like they did a good job by giving enough background. You can see what his background was, to see what he's dealt with. But also, being a black man in America, I understand his viewpoint. I understand why he would want to see it that way. I see the flaws in it. I see the flaws in it very easily. That type of violence does not equate to what you want to do. But also at the same time, sometimes violence is the answer. And a lot of people, I think a lot of people don't realize that. I'm like, oh, violence is never the answer. Yo, man, sometimes violence is the fucking answer. Sometimes violence is the answer. We might catch a lot of shit for that. What is the
American word? Freedom's worth fighting for?
Freedom is worth fighting for. And to say it another way, someone's terrorist is another person's freedom fighter. Amen. It all depends on your perspective. It all depends on your upbringing, what you've had to deal with, And sometimes violence is the answer. With a lot of American culture and things that we've had to deal with and so on and so forth, sometimes violence is the answer. I mean, it's definitely not the first answer. It's not always the first answer, but sometimes it is the answer.
Yeah.
And that's something you gotta get behind. And I understand what he was coming with, and he's, Killmonger having to deal with and seeing his people treated the way that they are in the situations that they are always in, and kind of not necessarily, just in, but they were restricted to because of the chances they are given. Whether the chances are given, they're given good chances or not, it feels like they're pushed back always in that position to be in that position, even if they're given a good chance and they have a moment of opportunity. It feels like they're always pushed back. And I understand his perspective. And it's one of those villains that I can see and I can rationalize with and understand. Just like Thanos. Sure, he was turned around for wanting to wipe away half of humanity and everything, but also at the same time, I get it, bud.
Yeah.
Dude, I really fucking get it.
Thanos' motives were a lot more understandable to me than Killmonger's.
Yeah.
But I mean, can't really say I know too much of oppression. I'm a Jew, so.
I don't know. You should have led with that. What are you talking about? Why did you let me rant for 30 minutes? You should have just led with that. Hey man, if you had, hey man, same thing like Moses stepping up, man. And he, I guess, intentionally, unintentionally drowned so many in the Red Sea. Sometimes when you look at it, you're just like...
Honestly, I mean, it was good. I don't know if it was the best superhero movie. I think I liked Civil War more than that. No, Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier
was better. I mean, so coming back to Black Panther was a very cookie-cutter movie. But
it worked, and it felt natural.
Not necessarily a warmonger's intentions, but the plot, the way that it played out,
Killmonger.
you know, what did I say? I said Warmonger, didn't I? Okay, yeah, Killmonger. Killmonger's intentions, other than his intentions and the reasoning behind what he was doing, everything about that movie was very cookie cutter. Very cookie cutter movie. So I understand that you can say that it's not one of the best movies, superhero movies that you've ever seen.
I think the largest issue I have with that movie is how many people believe that Wakanda's a real place.
You're talking about like with people?
Yeah.
Like in the real world?
Yeah.
I mean, it just comes down to ignorance and people becoming.
For me, I also think a lot of it revolves around who plays the character.
Yes.
I can watch a shitty superhero movie if it's somebody that's made for that role.
Yes. Like I love Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think. I mean, like Henry Cavill's The Witcher, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna watch the next Witcher. I'm not, because I don't care to see the other dude. As far as I'm concerned, he was The Witcher.
I mean,
I will combat that. Not necessarily what you were saying about. I'll combat that with Spartacus. It's different. It's different though, because they didn't recast him.
That is different.
It is different, and I know people that didn't want to watch the continuing seasons of Spartacus because the original actor passed away, and so they had to recast Spartacus, and they didn't watch it. But I'm like, yo, you still missed out. I'm not saying that the Witcher is going to be the same going forward with him, with Liam Hemsworth. I'm not saying it's going to be the same, but I'm saying there might be a chance. Because
for me, it was.
I continue watching Spartacus, and even though Andy Whitfield, who was the original Spartacus, dude owned that fucking role, and that is his role. No one's ever going
to me, it was he left because he wanted it to be authentic, and they weren't having it.
Yeah,
and
that's fair. That's fair. You're talking about with The Witcher, yeah.
You know, like Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. Nobody else could play Deadpool. In my opinion, Chadwick Boseman is the Black Panther. He's the best Black Panther. I don't think there could be a better Black Panther.
Sure.
You know,
I think there's a little give and take, and there's been a lot of controversy with that. Some people are like, "Oh, don't recast Black Panther because of Chadwick Boseman because he did such a great job." But then there's also a very strong fan base that's like, "Hey, you need to recast him. You know, he's such an influential character. He's such a great character, and we still have respect for Chadwick Boseman, but this character needs to live." So,
but I think if they recast
you almost do Chadwick Boseman a disservice by not letting the character live on and letting it die with him.
But if they recast, couldn't they make it the Black Panther just not T'Challa, not him as a character? Like
they tried doing that. They tried doing that.
So it's too late for that now. It's too late for that now. The MCU has already confirmed that T'Challa is dead. T'Challa has passed away. He is gone. If they didn't do that and they were to recast him, so I mean that's what they're trying to do with Shuri. They're trying to have Shuri take over the Black Panther. But she's going to be a Black Panther. So you're talking about being a Black Panther, or are you talking about a male Black Panther? So now we're coming to two different sides.
Sure.
So if they didn't say T'Challa was dead and they recast T'Challa, I probably would have been okay with that. That's fine. But I mean, it's too late now. They've already said that he's dead. So without restarting the MCU or bringing in the multiverse, which I don't want them to fucking do, the multiverse is already played out.
Well, did you guys see that Tom Cruise is going to play the new Iron Man? And
that was a rumor for so many years. They thought he was going to do that in Deadpool. They thought he was going to do that in Doctor Strange 2. That's probably not going to happen. I think that's one of those rumors that they kind of put out there, because Ryan Reynolds admitted that he put out rumors out there that they were going to do stuff that they didn't actually weren't going to do, just to tease you and get you thinking multiple things. So I think that's probably one of those things. Maybe at one point they probably did have Tom Cruise try to come in, but they just never committed to it. So it could have been an idea that they had out there, but I don't think it's going to be something like that.
The going thing right now is the reason that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be playing Victor Doom is because there is a universe where Tony Stark is Doom.
No, so right here, Tom Cruise has officially signed to play the variant of Iron Man in Secret War and Avengers Doomsday.
Yeah.
I mean, the source. If you say it is fucking You
Kotaku.
got this. I will drop again. I will need
Now,
your address and I will fight you.
My thing is, I kind of wish that if anything, Doom would have been played by him and Robert Downey would have still played.
I actually think Tom Cruise would have been a good Doom.
That's what I'm saying, and keep Robert Downey as just because it's an alternate universe, right? Like it's a
Yeah.
Dude, maybe think about that. That would have been.
I think Cruise could have been a good Doom. The problem with Cruise is how short he is.
I thought about that too, but it doesn't matter. I was gonna say that. You didn't beat me to it. I just didn't say it because they just use so much movie magic that it doesn't matter. They would just do the same thing. So it doesn't really matter. I mean, all the Mission Impossible movies, he's still 6'2", right?
Yeah, I mean, same thing with
Yes.
Tom Hardy as Bane. Tom Hardy's like 5'8".
Yeah, they made him huge. I mean, he definitely bulked up for that shit.
He put on over 50 pounds of muscle to play Bane.
Oh, dude.
And he did it
As long as
quick, too. He did it like 6 months. Yeah.
Anyway, if they would have kept T'Challa and recast Chadwick Boseman, I mean, they might have needed to give it some time, but they kind of they wanted Black Panther 2 out there, so they just said he's passed away, and so, I mean, that's that. So, I mean, it's done. The rub is done. It's done and over. But also at the same time, it was T'Challa, not Black Panther, but T'Challa is such a good character, such a very respectable character, that it shouldn't have been limited to just... As much great and respect we have for Chadwick Boseman and the way that he owned that role, that character should not have died with him. You know, Gon was doing him a disservice by having such a great character and having it die with him. We understand, and there have been so much fucking pushback. I mean, we saw how... Oh, god damn it. What was his name? The character, he didn't even play Steve Rogers. He just played Captain America, who's going to become a U.S. agent.
Oh, yeah.
I totally forgot his name.
I know you're talking about.
But he got so much... Dude, he's going to fuck... This is where people need to find the separation, man. People take this shit too seriously. They need to find the separation. He's getting death threats just because he's playing, Captain America. He played the exact role that he was fucking given. We understand that he's not supposed to be Captain America. He's supposed to be the dude that's not supposed to be Captain America.
Yeah.
Right?
He was playing
Captain America. That's not supposed to be Captain America. That he played the exact role that he was given. And he did a fucking fantastic job.
That's something...
Like, oh, you're not fucking Chris Evans. You're not Chris Evans, Captain America. We're going to fucking kill you. People need to find the fucking separation. People understand. Dude, that's how you're supposed to feel, but you're not supposed to actually fucking act for those fucking intentions.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy pieces of shit. I fucking said it. You're fucking wild for thinking that and sending him
death threats
this type of
definitely
message.
don't need to be happening. And that goes all around. Like, a lot of these actors and actresses are just doing a job.
They're just doing their job. Sending death threats to the fucking... They couldn't even figure out which one they wanted to do for Abby and The Last of Us 2 because they had a character model and then they had someone that actually played the character and played the role. They were both getting death threats. And it's just like... They're playing their fucking role. One just stood there and just took body photos so that they could take her image and put it onto another character or another person. And one person actually went through the role, but she had to be given a script and so on and so forth. But I'm also not saying that you have to go after the fucking script writers and the producers or everything. Hey man, it's a fucking story. Calm the fuck down. What are you talking about? And sending these people death threats and just like how Caitlin Dever has to have
Here's my
security.
entire thing on that is, if you don't like something, don't buy it. That will speak volumes more than sending an actor or actress a death threat.
You just be put on a fucking watch list and go to jail. Good job. Have fun.
Like,
Whatever. Instead of saving yourself $60, you're going to fucking jail. Good job.
yeah. Like, people are ridiculous, and it's one of those things that I have conflicting issues with because I'm a huge proponent of free speech, but at the same time, put your name on it. show some visual accountability for the shit you say.
Don't have a stupid ass Twitter handle. That random guy 420. Put your fucking full name on that. Put your government shit on there. Good to go, bud. I'll allow that.
Because I don't want there to be laws against it, but at the same time, I feel like people should be held accountable.
Held accountable for your responsibilities of what you say. Yeah. Free speech. Say whatever the fuck you want. But take it too far. Good to go.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you all for coming and watching. We hope you had a good time. We